Welcome to Animal DNA, our extraordinary expedition through the animal kingdom. We'll explore the unique traits and characteristics of animals of all kinds, how species relate to one another, and ways in which they survive and thrive in their diverse environments around the planet. And so our journey begins. Today, we'll uncover some mysterious habits of those creatures of the night. That's right, we're talking about nocturnal animals, those that only come out under cover of darkness. Let's start with one of the most unique animals of any kind, bats. These flying nocturnal creatures make up the very large Chiroptera order, which houses 20% of all known mammal species. There are around 1,100 different bat species, the second most diverse order of mammals, after rodents. Fun fact, bats are the only mammals capable of flight. Ever heard the phrase blind as a bat? Bats were once thought to be blind because they live in the dark. But don't let that fool you. Bats aren't blind. They actually have very sensitive vision that's different than our color-attuned vision, though they do rely heavily on echolocation to recognize their environment, move around, and capture prey in the air. They have excellent hearing, and through echolocation, they can determine the location of objects by the reflection of sound. Dolphins use a similar method to locate themselves in their surroundings. Some bat species are solitary. Others live in colonies that can range from a few dozen to a few thousand individuals. Bats can be found on all continents except Antarctica. Their bodies consist of a head, trunk, and limbs, which lends to their rodent-like appearance. But the upper limbs of bats form a pair of membranous wings, which decidedly set them apart. They can wrap their wings around their bodies to insulate themselves when they're resting. While they have an average wingspan, they cannot lift off from the ground. Their thin wings don't have the strength to lift them up, so they must fly from high places. Their front toes are joined by a thin membrane that allows them to take flight and control direction more easily. When they land, they retract the membrane. When in the air, bats can really put the pedal down. They can fly up to 60 miles per hour. The tailless Mexican bat can reach speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. They rest upside down in caves, trees, buildings, or pretty much anywhere they can find a dark, peaceful space to hide from predators during the day. Predators can range from birds of prey like owls, hawks, and falcons, to crocodiles, snakes, and other animals. At night, they come out to feed, just like the fabled vampires of lore, though it's not all blood-sucking. In fact, there are only 3 species of vampire bats that live off blood, a dietary trait known as hematophagy. These bats have specialized fangs used to make small cuts in cattle and other animals. Their saliva contains an anticoagulant that aids in their feeding. The common vampire bat is native to Mexico, Brazil, Chile, and Argentina. They have a short tail, measure approximately 9 inches, and they weigh 1 ounce. All other bats have a varied diet. About 70% of species eat spiders, centipedes, or scorpions, which they hunt during their nocturnal flights. The other 30% have diverse feeding habits. Some species are herbivores, some are frugivores, meaning they mainly eat fruit, while still others feed on pollen, nectar, and leaves. Some species are capable of hunting small fish, reptiles, and rodents, but there are also omnivores and scavenging species. Bats give birth to live young, which makes them viviparous. Gestation can range anywhere from 40 days to 10 months. Some species lengthen gestation to avoid bad weather or periods of scarcity. Most bats have one pup per year, making them vulnerable to extinction. Mother bats can find their babies by their sounds and scents. Most bats can live to around 4 or 5 years of age, though some larger species may live 20 or 30 years. Bat bodies vary from species to species. They range from just over 1 inch and 0.07 ounces, as in the case of Kitty's hognose bat, native to Thailand, to Lyle's flying fox, which lives in the South Pacific Islands and has a wingspan up to 6 feet and weighs 3 pounds. The giant golden-crowned flying fox is a species of megabat native to the Philippines. It also weighs in around 3 pounds and has a wingspan of 5.5 feet. Other bat species include Livingstone's fruit bat, which can only be found in the islands of Anjouan and Moheli in the western Indian Ocean. The little brown bat, which can be found in Mexico, the United States, and Alaska. The Indiana bat is native to North America. The Egyptian fruit bat inhabits caves in Africa, Asia, India, Pakistan, and Cyprus. Bracken Bat Cave in Texas is home to the largest bat colony in the world. It's home to more than 15 million Mexican free-tailed bats. You may not know it, but bats help humans as well. Over 300 species of fruit depend on bats for pollination. They help pollinate nuts, figs, bananas, avocados, and more. And there are dozens of medicines that come from plants which rely on bats for pollination too. We'll be right back with more animal DNA. We're back with more animal DNA. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. How many mosquitoes can an average bat capture and consume in an hour? A, 12. B, 120. C, 1,200. D, 12,000. If you said C, 1,200, you're right. Let's continue our exploration of night creatures with our next nocturnal animal, the owl. Owls belong to the order Strigiformes, which is divided into 2 families: Strigidae, true owls, and Titanidae, barn owls. There are 250 species of owls and barn owls. The true owl family, Strigidae, contains 3 subfamilies: Esioninae, Striginae, and Cerninae. Owls can be found all over the globe, except for Antarctica. They are capable of living in tropical rainforests, coastal regions, mountains, and deserts. Each species is adapted to the climatic conditions of the area they inhabit. Owls are known for their intelligence. You're probably familiar with the wise old owl trope in cartoons. In different studies carried out with respect to other birds, they have shown superiority in many areas. Owls are the largest nocturnal birds of prey. The average owl weighs around 3 pounds and has a wingspan of around 4.5 feet. Females are larger than males, at around 25% bigger. Owls are not migratory birds. They remain in the same territory throughout their lives. Like bats, they do their best to remain out of sight during the day. They make their nests in dark places in order not to be detected by predators. Adult owls are at the high end of the food chain, so don't have many predators as a source of food, but still can find themselves prey to eagles, hawks, and even other owls. Unlike bats, owls have large, powerful wings. Tiny grooves on the edges of their wings and a hairy fringe that interrupts the flow of air makes them capable of silent flight, a trait that makes them stealthy hunters. They can fly short distances at high speeds and in the dark of night. They have short but very strong legs and extremely sharp claws to grip their prey. Owls have amazing binocular vision, enabling them to see far away, which is useful for spotting prey in the dark from a distance. They have 3 eyelids on each of their eyes. They also have a highly developed sense of hearing. They are capable of hearing up to 10 times more than a human. Their ears are located on both sides of their head, so they can hear sounds emitted at very low frequencies and at great distances. Through the crown of feathers on their face, which resemble ears, they are able to catch sound. They can then hone in on the precise location of their prey, even at long distance. Their hearing makes them truly fantastic hunters. Contrary to popular belief, owls aren't capable of a full-on 360-degree head rotation. But they can turn their head an impressive 270 degrees, allowing them to see all around them. Their plumage varies in color and can be black, brown, white, or gray depending on the species. They have 5 layers of feathers, some of which are very sensitive. In fact, some of their feathers can help them sense movement around them. Owls tend to be very territorial, so they will attack anyone who invades their area of dominance. Owls are carnivores, eating only live animals. They are not scavengers, and their diet mainly depends on where they live. They consume large quantities of invertebrates like insects, spiders, and worms. Some species hunt fish, small mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. Rodents, such as mice and rats, are high on an owl's list of delicacies, as well as rabbits. Once they capture their prey, they swallow it whole without chewing. They then regurgitate the fur, feathers, teeth, bones, and other parts that they can't digest in the form of a pellet. These birds are usually solitary, only seen in the company of others during courtship, mating, and breeding. They're generally monogamous, meaning they only mate with one bird every season. There are some species of owls that maintain their monogamy throughout their lives. They reproduce through laying eggs. Breeding season varies according to where they live. Owls that live in warm habitats usually reproduce in the cold season, and those that live in cold habitats reproduce in the warm season. Males do not allow other males in their territory. Only females, who may be their future mates. Males initiate the mating ritual with flying exhibitions and songs to attract the attention of females. Females can lay anywhere between 3 to 5 eggs, depending on the species, but some species, such as the burrowing owl, can lay up to 10 eggs. They are in charge of incubating them and protecting them from predators. Eggs are incubated for around 30 to 45 days, and during this period, the male hunts and returns to feed the female. Owlets can fly after 6 weeks, and after only 14 weeks, they leave the nest for good. Owls live an average of 15 to 20 years, with smaller species usually having shorter lifespans. True owls and barn owls differ in several ways. True owls are generally larger and more robust. Barn owls have feathers on their claws, something that true owls do not have. Their communication styles differ as well. True owls communicate by hooting, and barn owls by screeching. We'll be right back with more Animal DNA. Welcome back to Animal DNA. Let's see if you can answer this trivia question. Which of these owl facts is false? A. Great horned owls can swim. B. Owls have 14 vertebrae in their necks, which allows them to turn their heads 270 degrees. C. Owls have waterproof feathers. D. Owls do not have a crop, an expanded portion of their digestive tract used to store food prior to digestion, like other bird species. If you answered C, you got it right. Owl feathers are not waterproof. If they get wet, they will be soaked. In fact, an owl's feathers are less water resistant than those of many other birds. Additionally, when in the water, an owl is left relatively defenseless, so an owl typically won't choose to take a swim. However, this doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's true. If necessary, this impressive bird can navigate the water. And owls do have 14 vertebrae in their necks. It's this feature which enables them to turn their heads an amazing 270 degrees. Now, let's come down to the ground to continue our journey through the night with some more nocturnal creatures. Toads. Toads are amphibians of the genus Anura and family Bufonidae. They're the common name for certain frogs. While frogs have smooth, moist skin, toads are characterized by their rough, dry skin. Toads also walk more than they jump due to their shorter legs. Male toads are around 3 inches long, while females are bigger, around 5 inches long, although large individuals can reach up to 6 inches. They generally weigh between 0.7 and 3 ounces. Toads have large, protruding eyes. Most toads also do not have teeth. They use their long tongues to capture food and feed as they please. Toads feed on spiders, grasshoppers, snails, flies, mosquitoes, and all kinds of worms. Large toads are even known to eat small rodents. They can swell up like a balloon to make themselves look like large animals to potential predators. Toads can live in various ecosystems and locations around the world, except for Antarctica, which is not home to any type of toad. Like most amphibians, they are cold-blooded animals, unable to regulate their body temperature on their own. They need sunlight to warm themselves. Toads can live up to 10 years in their natural habitat, though in captivity, they generally live shorter lives. Toads are oviparous, meaning they reproduce through laying eggs. Females can deposit more than 10,000 eggs on plants near water. Some kinds of toads and frogs will protect and care for their eggs and tadpoles, with females of certain subspecies even carrying the eggs on their backs while they develop into tadpoles. With other subspecies, the eggs are deposited, and once they hatch, the tadpoles find their way into water and are on their own. As they grow and mature, they gradually develop 4 limbs, first the back legs, and then the front legs. As their metamorphosis continues, they lose their gills, lungs develop, and the tadpoles begin to breathe air. Their mouths change from small openings to a large mouth, as wide as their heads. Their diet transitions from herbivorous to carnivorous. Eventually, the tails are absorbed into their bodies. And after around 4 months, the tadpoles fully transform into toads. And with that, our journey has come to an end. See you next time on Animal DNA, where we humans decode all the secrets of our friends in the animal kingdom to learn more about them and a little bit more about ourselves, too.